Local businesses feeling the impact of the extreme cold and snow, the drop in foot traffic leading to a drop in
It
sales.
stings for a lot of them. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi shares what one coffee shop owner says about surviving these snow days from a business perspective and the message the Fayetteville mayor has about supporting local spots.
It's a big deal. As a small business, you rely on very few days that you can do a lot of business.
Rosie Collins and her husband run Doomsday Coffee in Fayetteville. She says on weeks like this one, with snow and extreme cold, the business from local students is essential.
When the students are in town, you don't want to be closed because that's when business is good. Like yesterday, we kept still selling things as much as we could because we didn't know what today was going to be like. But it's painful to just have one day closed for sure.
Collins adds that with school being out, students have used the time to grab food and study at the coffee shop. But she says the decision to stay open is about safety first.
I want to make sure that my staff and I are able to get here, safely. That's the number one thing. I would never ask my staff to get out and do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself.
While Fayetteville Mayor Molly Ron encourages people to stay home for safety, she says she understands the burden local businesses feel.
Small businesses are so important to our community, to Fayetteville. They rely on their customer base. They rely on foot traffic. We know that when you have 2, potentially 3, maybe even looking at 4 days of having to be closed because you can't get your employees there safely, that's really difficult.
That's why Ron says as temperatures begin to heat up, she expects to eat and shop local.
We want to get out this weekend and spend some money locally and show those businesses some love. That might mean lines are a bit longer, so just everybody be kind and remember the way that we want to treat people.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Well, several schools out again tomorrow. Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, all among some of those districts having another snow day. Several Oklahoma districts will also be doing some virtual learning. You can see the full list by scanning that little QR code. Tow truck drivers say the calls have been coming in nonstop since the snow started falling. Now they're asking people to slow down and move over when you see them on the side of the road. That's anytime. Driver Jim Wilson says he's faced many close calls for himself in the past, and his head is on a swivel now, even as he drives home from work, considering the accidents he's responded to over the past 15 years.
I wish more people would spend more time looking at their surroundings and preparing to, like something's going to happen, whether it does or not, but be prepared for it, and that will eliminate a lot of accidents.
Meanwhile, a group of volunteers in the River Valley is shifting into high gear to help out. They call themselves the River Valley Misfit Jeeps. Look at those Jeeps. A Facebook group that they started now has more than 800 Jeep lovers in it. Anytime winter weather strikes, those Jeep owners volunteer their time to get people to where they need to go for free.
4 years ago, my job shut down because of the cold weather and the cold snap, and we were sitting at the house and told my wife, like, there's got to be something we can do. Went out and got on the forums and was like, hey, I'm willing to come out and help everybody. Got to meet some amazing people.
Left that. Well, some members of the group have also specialized Jeeps that can help tow people who get stuck.
This wintry weather has made a bad situation at the Arkansas Blood Institute in Fort Smith even worse. Center was already experiencing a big loss of donors because of illness. Well, now the weather has caused even more blood drive cancellations, which has caused the supply to drop to nearly a single day.
Our last-ditch effort fallback is to reach out to other blood centers across the country and say, hey, do you have any extra product that you might be able to share with us, and we can kind of piece it together, from a bunch of different blood centers. And that's not the case this go around. And the reason being is because everybody's been dealing with the flu.
Cervantes says all types of blood are needed right now, and you can stop by the center at 5300 South U Street in Fort Smith to make a donation. When you think of the snow and cold, you probably don't think about applying sunscreen, but that's exactly what a local dermatologist wants you to do. Dr. Sandy Johnson with Johnson Dermatology in Fort Smith says it should be one of the first things you do before leaving the house.
The snow reflects the light. And so you're going to get a lot more sun when you snow, or in the snow if you're out skiing or if you're just out playing in the snow, than if there wasn't any snow. There's a lot more reflection.
As far as what type of sunblock, Dr. Johnson says look for those that contain titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. The icy conditions didn't stop some Arkansas lawmakers from making it to the state capitol today.
Reporter Rebecca Brown was at a committee hearing for a bill that would change the rules for petition efforts and canvassing.
I'm going to leave that decision as to whether we vote on this bill today to the will of the committee.
Despite the freezing temperatures outside, lawmakers inside of the state capitol once again found themselves in a heated debate over Senate Bill 207. It's one of several bills aimed at making the state's petition system more secure.
If somebody does present to you with a petition to sign, I think there is a duty to raise the awareness of the importance of the document that is being signed.
SB 207 made its way to a House committee on Wednesday, where Republican Representative Kendon Underwood proposed an amendment that would require canvassers to disclose the consequences that come with committing petition fraud. Opponents say the bills would make the process unnecessarily difficult. But the biggest debate of the day was over whether lawmakers should even be discussing the bill while much of the state is covered in winter weather.
And so I don't think that we're doing anything unfair by voting on a bill we've already heard essentially 6 hours of testimony on.
But the other side of it is that people feel like they're being shut out of their own democracy. And that is a lot more serious, I think, than the consequences to waiting until Monday for a vote.
The winter weather didn't stop everyone from making their way to the Capitol to make their voices heard. 2 people did show up to speak against the bill. After some back and forth, Democratic Representative Andrew Collins made a motion to table SB 207 until Monday, a push that failed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
The ayes have it. Congratulations, you passed your bill.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, 5 News.
Arkansas lawmakers sent a bill to the governor today that would deregulate raw milk products across the state. If Governor Sanders signs it into law, it would allow farmers to sell unpasteurized milk at farmers markets or deliver it to customers. However, farmers will still need to put a warning label on each jug and display a contact number wherever it's sold.
New tonight, a 9-year-old child making a positive impact in an unlikely place. Reporter Sean Martinelli takes us to Fairfax County, Virginia, for a tale that crosses all generations.
At this Annandale, Virginia assisted living home.
We've been married 36 years.
That was Bill and Linda Ethington then.
Yeah.
Bill's now been diagnosed with dementia.
So
Linda knew this time in Bill's life would come. She did not expect it to include someone.
Hi. Hi. My name's Everett.
Like this.
So yeah, he's quite remarkable. We all think.
Everett Askew first visited here after a trip to the U.S. Army Museum. There, he asked his mom Angela a question.
Mom, who's thanking all the veterans at the nursing homes? And I said, I'm sure they have some kind of ceremony for them, but I don't really know. And he's like, well, I want to do it.
So last November, he did. Flags in hand, Everett suited up and showed up. That's where he met Bill, who served our country in Vietnam.
He's nonverbal, yet there was communication happening, and it was beautiful. And Everett felt the connection with him as well.
It was just very special to me. And today we're going to be reading Grandpa's Teeth.
The visits became regular. Through his monthly story time sessions, Everett visits both Bill and the entire community.
And seeing them light up, it's really fun. It makes me feel good inside. I may never speak the same again.
Everett reads a story, then he takes time to simply listen.
He's very much a proud veteran.
He listens to the tales of his heroes.
He always loved taking people to the Vietnam Wall.
I always say, thank you for your service. Not one time I've ever missed one.
In these visits, Everett's found something others often miss.
You're always rushing. You never really think about the things that really matter.
And what matters here is slowing down and showing up.
And without even having to say anything, I think that Bill is inspiring Everett.
Bye, Mr. Bill.
In Annandale, Virginia.
Yeah, it's very special of you.
Sean Martinelli, WUSA 9.